What's up, everybody? I'm Jason. This is Freeburg Garage. We are getting my dad's bike ready for spring. We are doing an oil change on this 2014 Softail Breakout using some brand new oil I've never used before and a kit, so I'm stoked to see what that looks like. And we are also doing a gauge install for this bike as well. So a two-parter. Let's dive into the bench, show you guys what we got, and then we'll get to the install. Let's get it done. So working with the Softail, there's going to be some pieces that we're going to eventually get into with this bike that I want to make sure that I know the back end. In order to do that, got a service manual here. These are the gospel, the Bible for Harley Davidson. I did not buy this actually from Harley Davidson. A lot of people ask me where I get my service manuals from, particularly my FXRs. Obviously, you can't just go run down to the dealership to go get them. And I track them down through swap meets, eBay. That's usually the easiest way to go get it. Or you'll have like forums, Facebook groups, Instagram, that guys are selling them for anywhere between 50 to 200, depending on how nice they are, which is crazy because it's a service manual. The most of the time I'm using my service manual is my hands are filthy and I'm touching the book and going all over. So if you have something new, unless you just want something that looks, you know, great with the bike and display, just buying a used one is gonna do just fine because you're just gonna grease that thing up. At least if you're working on it. If you're not working on it, I guess just have it next to your bike and show it off. This one, we got off of eBay. I think total was like 140 bucks, right? Seems like a lot, probably is for general eBay standards, and everyone out there saying they can get it cheaper by secondhand. Of course you can, but going to the dealership, I checked into this book and it was gonna be right around $250 to $270. It takes 2 to 3 weeks to get, so I didn't have that kind of time. So I wanted to be able to get it shipped to me, and I got this one for the 140. There was another one on for 80, but there's a reason why I wanted to get this one, so let's open it up and check it out. Let's not puncture any holes into this. See if it's got everything that we're looking for and more. Nicely tight. It's always nice when someone does that. Doesn't move around, doesn't get damaged. It's a book though, so it's hard to do that. Ooh, garbage bag here. Oh, we even got more wrapping. Look at that. That's top tier packaging. Look at that. All right. Some black saran wrap. It's a nice touch. Almost there. A little thank you card. All right, that's a nice touch. And there we go. A 2015, I think before after this is a 14, it is a 15 Softail Breakout, so the exact year. So there must be some small changes. Usually they'll put around of, you know, the 2, 3, 4, but if it's a single year book, there's usually particular to the 1 year. So make sure you always go with that year that matches your service manual. Just don't assume. All right, so that's the book that I want to get. It's gonna give us all the inside details, make sure we don't miss anything. But the guy was also selling this right here. It's the only reason why I wanted to spend the 140 over the 80 for just the book. This is all digital. So that book is completely digital in here, of course, and it also has a parts catalog and a paint catalog. I don't know how this came along. I don't know if this is like a premium thing that you can buy through the dealership, never done that before, or if it's something that, you know, came with maybe only dealerships can have. But now I have that entire thing digitally wise, which is sweet, because if I ever need to see something and track it down at work or whatever, I can search it by just using the PDF. And paint codes, those are always a trick to find. So that's the reason why I went with that one. Makes it a little bit easier, all right? So we got that covered. Now, we are using S&S oil. Before, I did this whole talk about the cheap oil that I usually go with, and then there's like the premium Harley, or, you know, premium to certain, what Harley is for premium. This is a full synthetic S&S 2050 oil. It also comes with a chrome filter, which is gonna match the original filter that's on there. But there's some caveats, supposedly with this oil filter, and in particular there's some oil filters that are bypass and non-bypass, and this is a bypass filter, which is a more premium filter. And I don't know if this year particularly, I try to look it up to see if other filters mention this, but S&S was the only one that mentioned this, so I'm assuming that maybe this is the one that only has it. Now what that means by what there's their standard on the box is that capture small particles, then stock, low restriction to oil flow, direct bypass oil, does not pass over dirty filter media, and smaller diameter for easy installation. So that's nice. So I'm curious on how much smaller than the original filter that's gonna be on there. So that'll be nice to get in there. So we got that, and then the fully synthetic, it's full synthetic 20W50, which is full synthetic, stable formula, resists extreme heat to large displacement of air-cooled engines. Moly boost added to reduce heat, friction, wear, and ultimate protection. Enhanced zinc and levels for increased engine wear and resistance. Meets warranty requirements for Harley Davidson other models. API. See, if you go by those codes that are what the make of your bike or car even will have those codes you want to have on there to make sure it actually matches to the oil that's going to have the correct formula. So they actually have it on there. All the other ones I spoke about didn't mention any of that. Now this is full synthetic, newer bikes. We're talking about older bikes, so pretty cool stuff. Curious really what your oil is and maybe what you need. This has got a little more detail on it. S&S has some great stuff. I mean, they are the top tier when it comes to premium oil engines. Any of their parts are just, it's great stuff to go with. So that's why I wanted to give them a shot. Now, the other reason why is because when I went on the website to go get this stuff, everyone else was sold out. That was really odd to me. That, or at least I got this from Dennis Kirk, and everything else on their website, not just the box kits like this, but I couldn't get any oil. There was only this oil and oil filters I could get for it. It's really bizarre that that was out. Now, springtime, everyone's doing oil changes maybe, but I figured that maybe would have some kind of oil. That's kind of the number one thing. Used to be in an oil or an auto parts store, and if you didn't have oil, you weren't having customers coming in. That's what they come in mainly for, to go and grab. So very odd, but let's open it up. All right, there's our oil there. Bam! Nothing special for the outside. S&S branding. Whoever makes their oil for them. Could be Mobil, could be Citgo, could be BP, whatever it is, but it's there. We have maybe a package box. Yep, that's just for shipping. And then we have our oil filter. Ooh, look at that chrome filter right there. Fresh. Still looks the same, just more shiny with less hands, less use. All right, so we got that. That's all covered. And lastly, we're gonna be doing today a gauge setup. So this one gives us all digital. It actually will tell you your fuel, or your fuel into this. The other one doesn't, that he has on here. This is a quick plug and play, so we're gonna check that out as well and get this all done. So let's get this oil change swapped and get this in. All right, just like any other Harley, we gotta get this motor in operating temp, so we need to let it run for 1 to 2 minutes at idle on the Jiffy stand or go for a ride per the service manual. So let's get this thing started. So I want to make this part clear. I said start the motor on the Jiffy stand, and you can check the oil on the Jiffy stand for this particular model and year of this bike. Always check your service manual, but this needs to be up and down perpendicular. My lift and my other scissor jack are being used by my FXR, and my portable jack doesn't want to fit under the bike. It's too low of a profile. So we're going to use a staircase to be able to get it up and down. It's nice and secure where it's at. It's not going to roll around. You can also use a wall if you need to. There's other spots. If you have to, you can do it on a Jiffy stand, but this is just a better way to make sure you get all that oil dropped out. All right, so let's drop the pan. Let's get it done. It's kind of hard to see, but we got our oil drain plug right here. I'm gonna drop that now. We are all drained. Put the plug back in. And by the service manual, it needs to be at 14 to 21 foot-pounds. 14, and we will bump that up to 20. There. All right, so I got a head start on removing the oil filter. I actually had to remove the ABS system in the front, and then the regulator, just unbolt it all, super easy to do, in order to get this wrench behind here, in order to get this oil filter off. I already broke it loose, so it's already starting to come out right now. I'll show you guys there. But I had to remove all of that system here to be able to get to that filter. You can use a cat style or like a oil wrench. It'll go over the top here and be able to pull it off, or if you have an oil filter with that nut, that makes it a lot easier. Because putting it on, it just wants you to hand tighten it, but to remove it, you had to use those. But I want to show you guys, you have to remove all this to be able to use those types of wrenches, all right? So you're good to start rolling this off. A little bit coming down. All right. I'll get this all cleaned up and we will get the new one on. All right, so if you want to know what oil filter I have as well by the part number, it's a 31-4104A. This kit also comes with an O-ring. I did install that, forgot to show that or mention that. So definitely want to replace it on your oil filler plug. Make sure that's done because the old one's probably trashed when you pull it off. At least this one was on this bike. And the diameter said it was smaller than the original. And it is. There's a very slight difference around the two, and this one, it's hard to tell on camera, but it is smaller. So easier to get in that little tight area. So what we're gonna do is fill up a little bit of oil into the filter here, and then put a little on gasket. We'll take a little bit there. Then after that makes contact, it's gonna be at a 1/2 to 3/4 turn by hand. Doesn't want you to use an oil filter wrench to over tighten it. Now we just gotta fill it up full of oil after I button this up. Forgot to mention, if you release the oil cap when you're draining the oil, it goes a lot faster. I had that cracked open. Dry as a bone down there now, and by the manual it says wet, which is when you do an oil change, it takes 3 quarts, and if it is a dry change, which is a engine rebuild or top end of particular, it's going to be 3.5 quarts to refill. Okay, so we're going to get this in. It's 1, 2, and 3. We're gonna start it up and see where it lands. See where it lands. See if the manual is right. Oh yeah. Perfect. Let's get onto the gauge. All right, so this is what we're swapping out. This is the original one here. It's got its speed up here, analog, and it's got everything else, your trip, and then just your lights for everything else that turns on. I'll show you. That's what it looks like. Pretty standard, nothing special. The new one is just going to show or have everything in digital format below, and then it's going to have a nice cleaned up analog for the RPMs to go around. So we're going to swap that out, see how it looks. Freed up there. Just gotta be real careful not to mark up anything. Okay. There we go. The old one is freed up. There's a new one. Make sure we got our gasket on there. And our plug. Good to go there. Slide that back in. And got our plugs. Don't want to over torque those. We are good. Gasket sealed. Now mount it back up. All right, let's see if it works. Oh man, look at that. That is awesome. Way better, look at that. Bam, that is sick. Fuel, miles per gallon, everything's all digital. I love that new analog. It just looks so much better. Cleaned up the whole deal, look at that. Woo! All right, bam, 2 installs done. Well, maintenance and an install of a gauge. Pretty simple stuff. Love doing it, helping out my dad on this stuff. He's ready for spring now. He's got some other parts that he's aiming up to get on this bike, so that might be coming up after he gets some rides, maybe before, helping him pick them out. Super stoked to do this for him. It's been a project that I didn't realize that we're slowly unfolding. But for now, guys, that'll about wraps me in this one. I would greatly appreciate if you could hit the subscribe button, tap down like, press the notification, leave a comment below and tell what you think. And for those who are already subscribed, thank you. As always, stay free. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.